Hello, everyone. How are you guys today? We are about to start today's X Spaces Bybit Cashtree, the 3.0 revolution. So, thank you so much for being here. We will be starting in just a few minutes. So, we will just be taking advantage of this time to test our microphones, make sure the sound is working properly. So again, thank you for joining. Make sure you guys show me your emojis, your favorite emojis, and we will start in just a few minutes. Thank you again for joining. Welcome, everyone, and how are you all doing today? We are thrilled to have you all here, and we are about to start today's X Spaces. This is a special Launchpad edition. We will be discussing Bybit and Cashtree, the 3.0 revolution. You are going to have a chance to get into details with the Cashtree team. And we do have two special guests today. We do have William Purdy. He is the CMO of Cashtree. And we do also have Bonifacio Renanda, the Chief Crypto Officer on Cashtree. So, guys, we are very, very happy to have you here. We hope we will be able to learn more about Cashtree and also get the community questions answered. So we hope you will have an amazing time here, and let's get started. Without further ado, I would like to introduce the Cashtree team. William, Bonifacio, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great. Thank you so. Okay, just can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, yes, just making sure. First time on Twitter Spaces, but what I wanted to say is thank you so much for having us. We're really excited over at Cashtree for being the first Launchpad 3.0 project that you guys are hosting. First one on Mantle, and to us as a team of Indonesians, the first Indonesian company and the first Indonesian project on your platform. We're really proud for all of the firsts that we're bringing forward today, and we hope you guys are as excited as we are to have this launch pad to go live on your platform and to dive right in.
Yep, I just want to add we are very excited to be here. So thanks a lot for having us here. We cannot wait to get this started.
Thank you so much, you guys, and I'm so happy that you guys are as excited as I am. William, I think you mentioned something very important that we will be discussing later on today, which is why 3.0, right? Why Launchpad 3.0 is so important right now. So I hope everyone is ready. And just before we start, we want to thank you everyone for participating and also for asking your questions to the Cashtree team. And remember that winners will be able to grab juicy USDT from the prize pool. So, on behalf of the Bybit community members, let's get into it. And let me start with the first question. I just want to go straight to the point. We were doing a little bit of our own research when it comes to Cashtree, and we figured it out that you guys have a background in Web 2. So I want to ask you guys, what was the motivation to shift towards embracing Web 3? And also, what advantages do you see in the Web 3 for Cashtree?
It's a great first question, especially because of the title. 3.0 means a lot to both of us. For you guys, it's the Launchpad. For us, it's the future with Web3, right? So for those of you guys that don't know us and are on the Twitter space today, Cashtree is actually not a new company. We're not just spinning up a token. We've actually been around for 8 years, since 2015. And we've, as our host here said, we've been kind of strategically positioned in the Web2 space for quite some time. Very traditional mobile application, but we've kind of joined the mobile app space at a time where Indonesia was booming with loyalty points and really mobile apps, as Android phones were becoming so popular, as you see all around you if you're in Southeast Asia. Our journey kind of perfectly timed up with some macroeconomics that just helped us rapidly scale to our exponential growth that we have today of over 20 million users. And we're fortunate that it's been able to really impact and drive a lot of Indonesians to be able to afford meals, to afford keeping their lights on and phone credits. But what got us here today over the past 8 years is not where we're going over the next future 8 years. We've noticed, based on the data of our demographics and just overall, Indonesia is changing. We've shown that the demographics of our application are primarily 18 to 35-year-old males. And likely, if you're on this call today, you fit within that demographic. It lines up well with the crypto trader, crypto investor, Bybit degen experience. And what we've noticed is kind of, as the digital experience is changing, so do we. Within Indonesia, we've seen this evolution that lines up with these macro shifts that I've discussed. The real world and the digital world are really blurring. You see this today with VR and AR technology. There's no longer a digital physical boundary. We're kind of merging those two together between what is kind of real world utility and the loyalty systems or these digital rewards that you're earning on your phone or your laptop, anywhere with Wi-Fi. A little bit about what we see in Indonesia. Right now, there's 205 internet users as of last year. It's a country of 270 million. So everyone's online, if you will. It's expected to expand to 230 million over the next year or two. And also, the demographics of Southeast Asia are really ripe for Web3 adoption, which I'll get into a second. Basically, 66% of Southeast Asia's unbanked, those that Web3 is trying to help, actually reside in Indonesia. So when we're looking forward and we see a new technology come out like Web3 over the past 2 years or 3 years, the introduction of these new technologies and the empowerment that it brings, or the transparency that it brings to users, we know that we have to, in hockey, they say, skate to where the puck is going, not where it is. We have to get ahead of these trends, especially with our mobile application, if we want to keep up with this growth. We're kind of living in this age where digital privacy and security, they're not really just a thing anymore, they're essential. They're really demanded by our users. You see this with the start of Cambridge Analytica in America back in the 2016 election, and you see it every day as there's a new hack, a new data breach, or something revolving your personal privacy that's now online that could have been avoided with better security or the tokenization of information. And Cashtree operates in an industry of advertising. And as many of you guys know, the advertising industry is kind of ruthless with your data. They're looking to collect every piece of information they can to feed you better ads. You see this all the time now with the cookie pop-ups that are occurring on your computer all the time. Everyone's asking to collect your information. And Web3, when we look to the future of advertising, is going to play a very pivotal part in the evolution of this industry. Through things like tokenization, users can maintain control of their data. The use of blockchain securitization, it ensures that your personal information, your assets, your privacy remains in your own hands. And unless you connect your wallet and send a transaction, whatever you hold with your private keys remains yours. It's no one else's. And as we look forward to the advertising industry and where we want to be over the next 8 years, Web3 kind of stands as, I'd say, this beacon for where we want to go over the next 8 years. And it's the future that we're envisioning and we're imagining. And to be honest, it's not the future that everyone in the advertising industry wants, but it's the one that we want and the one that we know our users want. So that's why we're building it, you know? So this transparent point-based system, bringing our points on chain, borderless digital currency flow, such as remittance payments, which are very big in Southeast Asia, whether it be Philippines, Thailand, or Indonesia, and the enhancement of the digital rights that I just talked about. Those are kind of three primary tenets of the Web3 advantage and the vision that we have for a mobile application in the future. Cashtree really sees the world where mobile platforms like ours really empower the unbanked, which they reside in Indonesia, and that's our primary demographic. So we need to be providing technologies that empower our users. We're also creating new income streams for lower income demographics. And, you know, finally, we're offering real world tangible utility through our entirely digital interface. Our mobile app is one of few where you can spend time on the application, and at the end of the day, you can actually get a hot meal out of it. Not many people in crypto can say that. Often it's just a token which remains entirely within a digital ecosystem. So just to sum up this answer, you know, when we're looking forward, what got us here over the past 8 years, it's not going to be what drives us for the next 8. It's really important at Cashtree, as we've been around for so long, we have to adapt, we have to innovate, but most importantly, we have to lead. As Indonesia's largest mobile advertising platform, we can't be following our peers. We have to be paving the way forward and showing them this is how you do it. So really, we're positioning Cashtree not just kind of in response to the future, but we're also actively trying to shape it, which hopefully we'll get into later. We're kind of driven by this vision that the digital world that we believe should exist is the one that we're going to work and push forward to create. So we're super excited about Web3, but it's not just a buzzword. It's not just a hashtag. It's not just some cheap way for some token to launch with some VC funding behind it. It's kind of a mission that we're actually trying to shape when we talk about all of the benefits. So really great question. I'm glad you opened with that one because, you know, it's a vision and a mission that drives Cashtree through and through to the core. And hopefully we'll talk more about this going forward.
Thank you so much, William. And now, I mean, taking advantage that you were discussing about demographics, right? And you were telling us more about what do you guys are doing in Indonesia right now. I would like to ask you, how do you guys perceive the current crypto environment over there in Indonesia? And also, where does Cashtree fit into the ecosystem, right? And also, I would like to add another question, which is, what are the potential challenges and opportunities you foresee, especially not only for Indonesia or maybe Asia, but now that you guys will be joining this global community, right?
Yeah, that's a stacked or loaded question. So this is going to take a bit to unwind, but more than happy to do so. The reason that we're doing what we're doing today, launching the token, entering the Web3 world, is because the demographics of Indonesia are prime for the disruption of this technology. When we do some research into our own users, we have forums and questionnaires that we submit to our 20 million user base. We get a lot of insight as to their behaviors, their expectations, what they like, what they don't like, all of those things. And something we were so shocked by is how little of crypto adoption is within Indonesia. When you look at Southeast Asia overall, adoption rate of crypto is quite popular. People use it all the time for remittance payments. People do it as a side hustle. They do trading, mining, etc. But really only 4 to 5% of Indonesia is actually considered active crypto investors. So it's a really small number. And when you put that side by side with, you know, a developed nation like United States, they're at about 11%. But if you want to compare that to our neighbors in other Southeast Asian countries, you look at Thailand or Vietnam, they're ranging from 10 to 20% crypto participation. So Indonesia's number is quite modest. But to us, this doesn't just show that, hey, maybe Indonesia is just not a fan of crypto. But for us, it really showcases that there's a lot of potential here waiting to be untapped. And that's what we're looking forward to. You know, it's really vital for us to highlight that there are a lot of Indonesian projects that are regulated in the crypto world. You might be familiar with some ones like Pintu or Toko Crypto or Indodax. They're the three largest projects in Indonesia. They're kind of industry standards for the exchange experience, kind of like the Coinbase in America, if you will. They've kind of pioneered the crypto movement. They've been really fortunate to ride a good regulatory environment, which I'll touch on in a bit. But really, we lack in Indonesia any of the flagship projects that are in top 10 global crypto exchanges. When we look at exchanges like Bitfinex, Bybit, Binance, BitGet, any of those, there's not much room for Indonesian companies. They just don't exist for some reason out there. And when we're looking for Cashtree to represent not just a company, but a nation, we're really proud to do so. So we think that there's just so much room here for innovation and the representation of Indonesia to expand. As to hurdles of some of this adoption, one of the hurdles that we've actually noticed through polling our users, it's not the educational curve of educating users about Web3 or blockchain technology. You know, what is Bitcoin? How do I do? What is a smart contract? Some of these most basic fundamental questions when entering crypto, but it's actually the initial capital outlay. And what I mean by that is that to enter the crypto industry, the crypto ecosystem, you actually have to spend money. And an unfortunate truth is that the average income in Indonesia is quite low. And because of that, most people are not willing to spend their hard-earned money on the volatility of crypto. It really serves as a barrier to entry. It's not just about like grasping blockchain concepts. You know, educational resources can be provided through libraries, videos, and all that. But it really comes down to the kind of perceived risk of trading one's hard-earned money for an asset in a digital ecosystem that's relatively new and quite volatile. So as to where Cashtree can position ourselves and where we aim to be to overcome this hurdle, you know, it comes down to a couple things to increase global Indonesian adoption for crypto. You know, instead of making Indonesians buy crypto, it's going to be a reward-based system that we're using in our application. We decided, you know, if the biggest hurdle is buying into crypto, why don't we just instead reward them with crypto for their time and engagement? As an advertising platform, we basically get advertising campaigns from larger sources, and then we're able to actually generate or push some of that revenue down via loyalty rewards to our users. It's an experience that gives them all the advantages of crypto without that initial capital commitment that was required and the largest hurdle. So once we add in the kind of comprehensive educational resources and libraries within our application that demystify crypto, if you will, we kind of have a formula here that introduces the millions of our users into crypto in an ecosystem that provides confidence and clarity. A lot of it comes down to, you know, I don't know which exchange to use. I don't know if I can trust this place to hold my assets. And because we've been around for 8 years, we have a really strong brand loyalty and brand recognition that we're able to lean into. You know, with the background of an industry growing in Indonesia that's crypto-based, whether it be any of the three companies I mentioned before, we have the support of a larger enterprise scale movement that's going to be supported by the retail excitement that we see day to day. So, you know, we're kind of poised to revolutionize how Indonesia perceives and engages with crypto from the first touch. You know, there's a lot of questions. This question was kind of stacked, so I'll just kind of touch on the regulatory landscape and where we want to see it evolve over the next, and then curious what your next questions are. But as to the regulation here, it's actually incredibly favorable. The Indonesia's regulatory framework is not a barrier at all. We've been working for launching Cashtree Token for 1.5 years or 2 years now. We've worked with regulators, lawyers, and consultants, and they've all been incredibly insightful. It's not often that we find ourselves trying to work in some legal gray area, figuring things out, drawing new cases, figuring things out in a place where nothing has already been paved. We're very fortunate for that. We've kind of ensured that with this launch, we know good things take time, and we've tried to navigate every guideline, every book in the every law in the book, that we are primed for our forthcoming launch, and that it's to the T of everything that's been outlined by regulators. In fact, our Commodities Futures Trading Regulatory Agency actually endorsed crypto as a tradable commodity. So it kind of underpins the progressive stance, if you will, that Indonesia can be the home of crypto adoption and the home of crypto companies should they choose to be here. So just kind of to close this answer out, when we're looking to the future direction, Cashtree is not just trying to be our participant in crypto in Indonesia. We are trying to be the catalyst that changes the perception of crypto in Indonesia. We're very fortunate with where we are today, the assets we have, the team that we have, the brand recognition and loyalty that we have to be the catalyst for change in Indonesia. And that's really our objective. Our goal is to bridge this gap that currently exists and to foster crypto adoption at a scale that does not exist. And we're going to be there on the forefront of the Asian crypto narrative, if you will, which is that crypto is good. Crypto has so many benefits. Yes, there are scams. Yes, there are good things that come out of this, but we are here to help hold your hand and guide you and onboard you to this industry every step of the way. Our end goal, our vision, just like our Web3 vision, it's really to create a dialogue and to make crypto discourse in Indonesia really as vibrant and dynamic as our industry peers in our neighboring countries. Like I mentioned with Thailand and Vietnam, our end goal is to make as crypto as popular here in Indonesia as it is in our Asian countries nearby. Great question.
Thank you so much, William, and thank you so much for sharing like foundations of Cashtree and also for sharing like where are you guys aiming in this new Web3 journey. So thank you so much. And just before we move on to the next question, I would like to ask you for the users, right, that are not that very familiar with Cashtree, where can they start learning more about Cashtree? If you can maybe share the website, and also for the users that would like to join the Cashtree community, what will be the best place to join your community?
Sure. So our main website is cashtree.id or .app. So CASHTREE.ID as in Indonesia or .app. That'll guide them to download our application, get some further insight into who we are. If you're an advertising partner, feel free to reach out. If you'd like to learn more about our token, we've got our white paper on there. We've got an intro video and some further information. Our most active channel for social media is Twitter. We do have Telegram, of course, Medium. We do have a Discord, which more than happy for anyone to join and provide their input on. We've got some contests running. Feel free to join there. Overall, we've got all the traditional channels that you can find. If you head over to our Cashtree Token Twitter page, if you click the link in our bio there, it will guide you to a link tree, which will have all of the links and more that I've just mentioned.
Let's go, William. So guys, you do know already. I mean, if you guys want to turn your screen time into cash, make sure to go and check out Cashtree. You will find all the information in the website, cashtree.app. And William, now, I mean, here at Bybit, we like spicy question, right? So this one is a little bit of a spicy question for you. And I would like to go and start deep diving right now. And I want to ask you if you can share with me more information about the token, right? The Cashtree token, CTT. And I want to ask you, like, if we can discuss about tokenomics and utilities. So what are the core functionalities and how does it differentiate from other tokens in the market, right? Because we're seeing like many tokens out there. We're seeing like the competition is fearless. But what about CTT? What's the utility here, William?
All right. Hi, Kilo. For this one, I'm going to take this question. I'm Bonifacio. Nice to meet you all. And again, so happy to be here. And I'm excited to explain to you guys what is Cashtree Token. So before I before I answer this, I have to just bring you guys a back about the history of Cashtree. If you go to the Google Play Store and then you search for the Cashtree app, you can see that we have been amassed tons of downloads since our inception in Indonesia. We've gathered around like 22 million user base in Indonesia, and we also amassed like more than 14 million downloads. Cashtree is very well known in Indonesia as the apps that giving rewards to our users. That's our standpoint. And then we've been known to give rewards to our users even before we are entering the Web3 space. Now, to bridge this into the question of what is Cashtree Token. So basically, the core functionalities of Cashtree Token itself to give incentive inside of Cashtree ecosystem. But to be noted that Cashtree Token, which is CTT, is not just a token. It's basically an incentive engine for us to build the Cashtree ecosystem, which basically it's deeply rooted in providing benefits for our users, because even since our inception, Cashtree has been designed and we are putting our users in our mind. So if you're basically a Cashtree users or holder of the CTT, it's not about just seeing the numbers going up. It's more about giving you a real tangible values from your interaction within the app. So what is differentiate our token with other products, or if you may say with other tokens? The fact is, since 2015 up until today, Cashtree is delivering an exchangeable rewards for our users. So Cashtree Point, when you using Cashtree app, and then you can do some campaigns in our apps, users will earn something that we call Cashtree Point that you can exchange inside of our apps to get real rewards, like phone credits maybe, or some kind of like a e-wallet deposit. But then we have to be real, right? Like tokens are cool, but the most important thing is to turning that tokens into something that you can actually use. Just William already said that basically using Cashtree for like 30 minutes a day, you can have something to eat. It's basically like you are getting meals only from your interaction within the app. So we are focusing on to build how to exchange your tokens into a real world rewards and rewards utility through the Cashtree app. Again, I'm gonna mention like phone credits, shopping vouchers, discount vouchers, and all of the perks that we already bring to Indonesia for real. So inside of Cashtree business ecosystem, which is the ecosystem that we are currently building, it's already diverse. So not only like F&B, we also like partnering with the e-commerce platform, telecommunication providers, and also like digital vouchers, tons of partners that we already built in our Cashtree business ecosystem. So again, that's those things that basically are setting us apart. We have like reward utility, right? Because it's not only about digital bling, it's not only like digital token, but our unique selling point is basically the conversion of the rewards into real world things or meals or whatever you call it. In Indonesia, especially offering tokens, somebody's gonna see as like speculative investment, but CTT stands out because we have the immediate utility, we have the real utility in the real world. So it's not just about to buy and hold, it's more as a earn and use it. So again, William also said that one of the selling point of Cashtree is the fact that there is no upfront investment required to get CTT. So imagine like, let's say that crypto world with all the products, with all the features is some kind of like a theme park, right? To enter the theme park, you have to buy a ticket before you can try all of the rides inside of the theme park, right? But with Cashtree, we are basically giving you the free tickets so that you can enter the crypto world and you can try all the rides. So that's another cool thing about CTT. Basically it's like a zero risk getaway to enter the crypto world. Users can earn CTT only with their interaction within our Cashtree app inside of Cashtree ecosystem without any investment upfront that is required. So in a nutshell, it's not just another token. It's more like a holistic component of Cashtree ecosystem designed to incentivize, to reward, and most importantly, to democratize access to the crypto economy. So with CTT, we are not just onboarding users into our Cashtree universe, we are making them the citizens of broader crypto world.
Thank you so much, Bonifacio, and thank you so much for providing all these details about the token, because this is exact reason why I ask you this question, because I want also to share with Bybit user that you guys will have a chance to get an allocation of CTT during the Launchpad 3.0. So I want to invite you guys to go to our resources about Launchpad 3.0 so you can learn more about the timeline, how you can get ready for Launchpad right now. You can also learn the two different subscription methods that we do have. One is using Mantle and the other one is USDT. And we have prepared an infographic for you so you guys can check all this information. And I will be sharing this on the on the X below here and also on the Bybit Telegram community. So you will be able to find all the details when it comes to the timeline. So you can also learn about the subscription period, then the distribution period, and finally, and the most exciting part of the Launchpad, of course, the launch period where you guys will be listed in the Bybit spot market. So again, guys, I would like to invite you there. You can also check our current promotion that we do have for new users. You can check out the CTT Lucky Draw where you can get this is an amazing reward. It's 500,000 CTT in rewards. So make sure if you are a new user and you are signing up to Bybit right now during the Launchpad 3.0, make sure you check out the Lucky Draw so you can also grab rewards from there. So thank you again. And now I want to ask you guys the next question we see, which is how do you envision the global expansion of Cashtree app, right? We were discussing a little bit about this when you guys were mentioning all the work that you do guys doing on Indonesia, but what advantages can international CTT holders expect now?
Wow, that's a very good question. So again, I have to emphasize this, but our Cashtree app is the biggest mobile advertising platform in Indonesia with more than 14 million downloads and 22 million user base, right? So meanwhile, at the moment, yes, the app is only available for Indonesia region. However, we are working on something really, really big, and we will bring this app to global users as soon as possible. So please stay tuned. Mr. William maybe he will give you some information about this later, right? So our vision is not only to basically to dominate or to lead Indonesian market. We are also aiming for the global throne for mobile advertising platform. We basically want to be the one that introduce people all around the world to blockchain and to enter the crypto world in a way that basically so simple, so easy, and so seamless, right? So basically, that's the value, that's the selling point or the unique proposition that basically Cashtree brings to the global stage. And then why this is very important again, because we want to embody our vision to be the gateway of crypto adoption in Indonesia and the world. This, of course, gonna bring a lot of benefits for our global users. First and foremost, it's gonna be so easy and so seamless for for new people to onboarding the crypto world, right? We want to remove basically the jargon or maybe like the stigma that saying entering the crypto world is so complicated, it's so hard, it's so confusing. No, with Cashtree app, it's so easy, it's so seamless, it's so simple. You just basically interact with our apps. Basically, you just download our apps, interact with it, run some fun mission on our apps, and then you basically can earn Cashtree token, right? So our aim is to make everything super straightforward for everyone to get into the crypto world. Also, I already mentioned that we basically giving the real world utility. So we are bringing like tangible benefits that matter for our users. It's not about it's not about like only digital blink, only like digital token. It's more than that. We are aiming to offer rewards that have like value, bringing positive impact for our users and of course all the people's life which is basically through exclusive vouchers, discounts, and our partnership with all of our partners inside of Cashtree business ecosystem. And again, to educate people about these opportunities. We also insult with a lot of companies, big and small, in Indonesia, of course, and all around the world to bring more benefits for our users. And well, I can't say a brand at the moment, right? Because we're still something going on. So please stay tuned on our social media, on our Discord channel, in our Twitter, because there will be a lot of exciting announcement within weeks. Like next week, within a couple of weeks, there will be more announcement about this.
Let's go. Thank you so much. And just before we move on to community questions, I do have one last question for you guys. And I want to discuss about your roadmap, right? I want to ask you, as Cashtree evolves within the Web3 space, what are the long-term goals for integrating blockchain and crypto? And also, can we expect any groundbreaking collaborations or projects on the horizon? Because here we're always looking for alphas or fresh news. So I had to ask it, guys. But thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll take this one, Bonnie.
Sure.
This kind of leans back into my answers for the first two questions. You know, our ambitions in the Web3 space, it goes more beyond just a technology or integrating blockchain to our app or crypto. It's really about redefining how people engage in the digital economy. We don't want our users to just be spectators in the space. We kind of want to make them active participants. We want them to trade on decentralized exchanges. We want them to buy NFTs, participate in communities. We want them to feel the benefits, the rewards of this technology, which is, you know, blockchain technology. And that technology changes year after year, month after month. There's always something new. And we're here to kind of be that guide. With Web3, it's the decentralized and transparent nature of the space. It's kind of this ideal foundation for the vision that we have here. The vision that we have at Cashtree, it's a future where every Cashtree user feels empowered, having a real stake in this new financial system that's tokenized and digital. We don't want anyone to be left behind, and especially because Indonesia is a little slower with crypto adoption, we want to push forward this new technology in a space where other nations and other people from across the world might have some slight advantages for right now, but we'll be catching up soon for that. You know, another thing that we're looking forward to in the future is really leading in the mobile advertising space. Right now, we are Indonesia's leading mobile advertising platform, but you know, it's something that we're striving for more. Indonesia isn't our only destination. We're seeking to go global with our application. Maybe we could talk about some of the areas or the geographic demographics that we're looking for, but bringing and redesigning the mobile advertising industry within Web3 is going to take some time. You know, traditionally, mobile advertising has kind of been a one-way street. With the power of blockchain, we can really transform this industry into a two-way dialogue. And what I mean by that touches on something I brought back before. The power of the user to contain and hold and control their own data is limitless. It's really priceless. And within the advertising industry, it's a power that should be not taken for granted by the user. Because for decades, for centuries, a user has been at this stranglehold of advertisers. We're trying to claw that back for our users. And it's not going to be something that's instant or overnight and happens with the integration of a wallet to our application. It's you know, a 4, 5, 7-year timeline roadmap of building on-chain platforms where a user can control all of their information, control what's distributed, collect the rewards that are due to them, all with the transparency and power of blockchain. And that's the two-way dialogue that we're talking about, the conversation between a user and the advertiser. And we're that connective tissue as a mobile application right now, where we're providing rewards to the user for that connection with the advertiser and creating that ecosystem that's transparent, it's efficient, but really most importantly, rewarding for all the stakeholders. That's where we want to be when we're looking at a roadmap that's 3, 4, 5, 7 years down the road, really reshaping an industry that for so many years has taken advantage of our users. When we talk about maybe partnerships, collaborations, the news stream that you were just talking about, we totally understand that in crypto, we have to be moving fast and breaking things. We have to have new announcements, new partnerships, and we want you guys to know we're listening and we're on board with you guys. From day one on our first day of launch, we've got partnerships lined up that will excite you and drive enthusiasm for Cashtree. We guarantee and we promise you that. Primarily, the Mantle network that we're launching on, we're looking to speak with every ecosystem partner that makes sense. The Mantle network is a very new network. And to be frank, it's a small network, but it's a family. We've had conversations with so many partners on this network. And when we start speaking with them, we have aligned values, aligned missions, and aligned objectives. And we've been so fortunate to start forging partnerships on this groundbreaking network. And that's something where we think that together as a team, partner and partner, through our synergies, we can really exponentially magnify the capabilities of all our platforms on the Mantle network. And just as its name entails, network, we're stronger the more partners we forge together. Another collaboration that, we can't give too much away. We'll save the meat of this for when we launch, but we're speaking to a lot of gaming platforms that are on the blockchain space, whether they be play to earn or things similar to that. We're looking to bring gaming with blockchain into our application, and we're looking to provide better user experiences than ever with enhanced rewards. It's definitely a space that's ripe for introduction to our user experience and to further magnify the importance of blockchain technology when dealing with loyalty systems. Another place we're always looking, as Bonnie said before, we're always looking to broaden the rewards that we're paying out. We've got a lot of the largest digital voucher companies in our pipeline. We'll be talking about them over the next month or two as we bring their voucher systems into our application. But increasing utility for our token is the number one mission for the Cashtree Token team. We're going to allow you to buy more meals, more clothes, more jewelry, more digital goods with Cashtree Token, more so than ever before. And that's the thing we're most excited about, providing these real-world rewards seamlessly within our entirely digital app. We're also looking to speak with and currently speaking with several payment provider services for whether it be online gaming or digital products, such as those that we've already have integrated, like Ovo and Dana Wallet. And these are going to really elevate the experience to new heights. It's going to provide for a seamless way to cash out your rewards every day. Being able to spend some time on our application, earn a secondary income, and then cash out seamlessly to your bank account or crypto wallet like never before. Final thing I'll just touch on is NFTs. It's really a new frontier. They started popping off in 2020, but we've seen the dust of the excitement settle. And there's a lot of communities and a lot of excitement, especially in Indonesia here, that is just something we're going to lean into. We're currently speaking with the largest NFT projects here in Indonesia and some of the largest projects globally. We're going to be introducing some form of NFTs within our application over the next 2 years. We're going to add some loyalty points, some reward-based systems. Google Play Store recently allowed for the introduction of NFT marketplaces and for the trading, selling, and purchasing of NFTs, something we're actively exploring and we're looking forward to bringing forward to our community when the time is right. But that being said, our partnerships are en masse, they're bountiful, they're plenty, and we look forward to bringing you the news stream that builds and continues to build further excitement and show that our passion for crypto, our passion for disrupting this scene, and our passion for Web3 is not just something I'm telling you today that we won't carry through, but something that over the next few years, you'll see that we mean everything that we've said today. So just to summarize, Web3 is kind of our North Star in this space. All the missions that I've spoken about here and the two other questions that I was so grateful to answer, it all comes down to the empowerment and enrichment of our user community. Since day one at Cashtree in 2015, we've been all about listening to the reviews of our application, listening to the wants and needs of our users and leaning further into that. Something that we're really proud about is the collaborations, the technology, the innovation, and all of these things that create a future where the lines between the digital and the real world are blurred seamlessly. And I just want to close this by saying thank you so much for these questions. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the community has to ask us and hearing their excitement, because we've seen so much love on Twitter, and we're looking forward to answering both the good questions and the tough questions that they have for us.
Let's go. Thank you so much, William. And I mean, it's great. And it is great. It is always exciting to share time with Launchpad projects. So thank you so much for your answers. And I think, like you were saying, I think we're ready to answer some community questions. So get ready, because remember, you will be able to grab USDT from the prize pool. And I would like to start with the first community question. This one is coming from Kenny ETH, and he wants to know, on what chain is your project built on, and why did you choose that specific chain? Also, do you plan on extending to other chains in the future?
Sure, that's a good question. This is something that over the past 2 years we've been researching heavily. And as I mentioned before, the blockchain space, because it is a digital technology, it evolves, it enhances. There's new projects coming out month after month, day by day, as we know. And what we decided to do is to deploy first on Mantle network. That's where our token smart contracts, the token generation event occurs. That's where vesting contracts are home to. And that's where we're starting off. Choosing the right infrastructure, it's really pivotal when we're talking about defining the user experience we provide within the Cashtree application. Within our application, because we have so many existing users, we need to make sure that transaction efficiency is priority. And that's why we chose a layer 2 that's built on top of Ethereum. There's a lot of benefits to building on top of Ethereum, but it really comes down to the security of the transaction, the finality, if you will, and the efficiency, making sure that it's processed quickly and that it's cheap. For Cashtree, it really comes down to onboarding the masses of Indonesia here to crypto. If we're talking about scaling from 20 million users into, upwards of 80 or 100 million users, I'll pray for that. But, if that day ever comes, potentially on a global scale, it will. The user experience has to come first, and it can't be problematic with things like high transaction costs or long wait times for transactions, as you guys likely experienced on several networks during the 2020, 2021 bull run. So, I'll just going to touch on Mantle really quickly, kind of why it was our top pick. Just kind of reiterates what I was saying here. Comes down to the high transaction throughput. We have so many users. We're dealing with potentially millions of transactions a day. Their high throughput capacity was kind of the main reason that we're building on there. Means even during our peak usage, because we're dealing with users all in Indonesia, they will be operating on around the same time, peak usage, right after work or during lunchtime. It's important that all of our transactions are processed seamlessly and that there's no delays, which would hinder the user experience, create more negative reviews on the application, or be the reason that someone uninstalls the app. Another main reason, comes down to high throughput. The next thing is cost-efficient transactions. Mantle transactions are so incredibly cost-effective and cost-efficient. When we're talking about scaling, it's so important that transactions are cheap. You go to some other networks, which I won't call anyone out. It just doesn't work for millions of users within a day. We'll be burning through too much capital to be supporting their transactions. Third reason, it comes down to the Ethereum compatibility. Whether you like it or not, Ethereum is the king smart contract chain. And it's really important that we leverage EVM compatible technology. The dev technology is there. There's a lot of open source work that we can play around with. And we really didn't want to reinvent the wheel when it comes to Web3 blockchain technology. We know that the Ethereum dev community I'll say it, is the best in the world. It is the largest in terms of groundbreaking technologies, and it has proven since 2016, if not earlier, to be the best. And we're not looking to change that. We want to lean into their potential. And that's another main reason that we're building on an L2 that's built on top of Ethereum. Two final things. It comes down to kind of the modular architect that's provided by Mantle, transactions executed on a layer, data is available on a different layer, and the finality is separated into different modules. Kind of our vision that this flexibility is necessary for the adaptation and the upgrades of a blockchain over time. You know, a blockchain is a singular technology that we're looking at today, but the truth of the matter is there's an evolution that will occur. You see this with the progression of ETH to 2.0, the introduction of sharding and every upgrade that they're making to the blockchain. It's really important that a blockchain is flexible and that it's important that they continue to adapt and upgrade as their ecosystem evolves, as the needs of their users evolve. And really for us, we need to remain at the forefront of innovation when we're looking at blockchain technology, because like I said before, what got us here over the past 8 years won't get us to where we're trying to go over the next 8 years. And the truth of the matter is, none of us know what blockchain technology or the crypto industry will look like in 8 years, but we need to be modular and we need to be flexible for whatever comes our way. Final thing really comes down to, this is my favorite part as I'm not the technical guy. It comes down to the shared vision that the Mantle team has. And we knew this from when we first started with talking with them. There's a connection there that they are almost family. They're looking for a vision very similar to ours. It comes down to the mass adoption of kind of a decentralized token governed tech stack. And that really resonated deeply with us because there's a lot of projects out there which are, maybe it's better technology, maybe it's a better community, but they have the perfect blend of both. And when we started our discussions with them, we knew to call Mantle home. You know, their ethos really mirrored that of ours with the vision that I've emphasized time and time again on our AMA today. And it only strengthened our belief that the partnership and doing our token generation event on Mantle was the right step. It's really more than just this technology, but this shared mission to shape the future. So, you know, while most of these points that I've kind of mentioned are about the technical superiority of Mantle, it is a factor. It's also about aligning with a partner who's kind of understood our mission and the nuances of the unique market that we're trying to serve as we move from Web 2 to Web 3. And to be honest, with Mantle, we found that perfect blend of both. And it's just the natural choice for Cashtree's evolution. To touch on the final part of this question, I believe you asked if we're planning on going on any other chains. That answer is yes. We're not exclusive to Mantle in any way. We have no contract, nothing firm that says we need to stick only with Mantle. And the truth of the matter is that the world is multi-chain. There is other chains which have technologies that we need access to. There are chains with other communities and other demographics that we need access to if we want to go global. So we are planning on extending other chains in the future. I can't give you any information right now. We're speaking with several ecosystem grant programs, and we're looking forward to introducing those technologies and announcing them when everything is finalized and when the time is right. But we're proud to start off on Mantle, and we're looking forward to seeing what that brings for us. Great question. Thanks for asking.
Thank you so much, William, and great to see that CTT will be running on Mantle. That's super exciting, especially because of how much we care about Mantle here at Bybit. And I mean, we even came from Bit, right? And now being able to participate in the evolution of Mantle is very exciting for us as a Bybit community, and having the CTT token being launched on Mantle is even more exciting for us. So thank you so much for sharing, William. And now moving on to the next question. This one is coming from Tifa Eater. And the question is, what is the difference between Cashtree token and Cashtree points? Is Cashtree points some kind of secondary token?
All right, I'm gonna take this question, Will. So
Sure.
I gave you a little explanation, also history about Cashtree before. So basically, just to remind again, Cashtree Points is the current reward system inside of Cashtree app. And Cashtree Token is the new reward system that will be implemented on Cashtree app very, very soon. But as the question of when, well, stay tuned, right? So the Cashtree Point later will be available for conversion into Cashtree Token at a variable rate, as Cashtree Point currently is basically a fixed nominal value priced in IDR.
Thank you so much. Very interesting. And now the second question. This one is coming from Pian025, and he wants to know, will CTT be fully integrated in the Cashtree app?
Yeah, it of course will. That's our main technology stack goal right now. Yeah. Our two goals are basically bring Cashtree app global, and the next thing is to fully integrate CTT within the application. Similar to the question to the answer that Bonnie provided, we're on a centralized Web2 loyalty system right now. Integrating CTT will take a little time. As to specifics, as you guys know, with blockchain development, things take time. We need to make sure everything is done properly and tested whenever we're dealing with smart contracts, storing assets, the custody of assets. But what you can expect, maybe fully integrated with the loyalty and wallet experience over the next 3 months or so. And, I'm just going to put a little asterisk on that. Dev timelines change as technology changes and as both good things and bad things are figured out. So don't take, my word for it, but, there will be an announcement when we progress closer to this deadline or this timeline. It will be updated on our roadmap accordingly. And at that time, within the next 3 months, all rewards will be shifted on chain. We'll get rid of that Web2 loyalty point system that's stable. And then what we're really priding ourselves on with bringing CTT fully integration to the app is the account abstraction within our wallet experience. It all comes down to removing the complexity of the user experience on chain. And a user will never have to worry about seed phrases or gas transactions, really, unless they want to dig deeper into the settings. So, just to sum it up, when can they fully expect complete integration with CTT? About 3 months. And that will be not only earning CTT Cashtree tokens through the mission to earn model, but actually the storage, trading, and other utility of the on-chain benefits on Mantle network within. We're not just going to only launch Cashtree token within our app. We're going to launch a wallet as well within the experience to host your assets on chain. That way you always retain your assets at all times. That gives you the option to either cash them out immediately or to trade them on crypto exchanges, decentralized exchanges, by NFTs, or any other experience that you want to provide for yourself. At no time will we hold your tokens hostage. And that's something that we're really most excited about, is that you no longer need to wait to cash out. As soon as you earn the tokens, you have complete and total control over them.
Let's go. Great to hear there's not, the tokens are not locked. That's great to hear. And now the next question, this one is coming from Berserker AFX number 1. And his question is, what are the most efficient strategies for optimizing user engagement and revenue generation within the context of mobile app like Cashtree?
Oh man, this guy's definitely a developer, a mobile app developer. They're definitely is building D apps. Yeah. That's a great question.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Something that we pride ourselves with, our CEO and our CTO are really data heavy users, or developers, if you will. And that comes down to primarily A/B testing. Comes down to collecting insights on the behaviors of our users via third-party analytic tools like Mixpanel, collecting the demographics of our users, and then using the Google Play console for further insight into their actions. Really, over the past 8 years, what we found is that data is king, and advertisers know this, right? That's why they pay the bucks to target certain groups, because they know if they scatter a certain amount of dollars over this group of people with these behaviors, they'll be able to efficiently convert this into sales or into brand recognition or loyalty or whatever they're trying to target. And it's really the same thing when it comes down to optimizing our app for user engagement. It really all comes down to data. For revenue generation, we've been really fortunate to have a business model of a net positive, growing, revenue strong business. Outside of the application, we generate revenue through advertising services, just plain and simple. We have a business development team that's sourcing ad revenue, which we then pay out a portion of in the form of loyalty points. So when it comes down to both things, creating an optimized user engagement experience and revenue generation, it comes down to the track record that we have, the strong team that we have, and the insights that we are provided through the digital experience we provide in our mobile application and the data that we collect through that. Kind of hope that answers enough. That way you can, build your own DApp, build your own application. But we're really lucky to have a business already up and running for the past 8 years that has a strong revenue stream, and that our application is just one portion of it. So what I would say is, if you're trying to go a more traditional model, focus on addressing the needs of your users and build revenue from that, and then worry about the optimization later, because user behavior changes and you don't necessarily know the demographic profile of your users until you have a large enough number of them. What we saw when we had 50,000 users is not the same behavior that we see when we have 20 million. And when you're trying to target a smaller subset of the audience, you're shying away from the masses. So make sure to go and lean into whatever the majority wants, because that will usually drive the decision that is most beneficial for the continuing growth. Really good question. That was a unique one outside of Cashtree Token. Good job.
Good job. Thank you so much for the question. Now the next one is coming from alt_crypto, and he wants to know, he says, one major fundamental weakness for many blockchains is unsustainable fees versus reward model. What is the business model of Cashtree that enabled it to remain sustainable for the long term?
Dude, well, you know what? If like the previous question is coming from developers, I think this one is coming from like businessmen, dude. Like, yeah, it's a very good question. I'm happy to answer this one. So, as Will mentioned earlier, that Cashtree business model is basically a mobile advertising platform, right? To be noted, we already generating revenue ever since 2015. That's to be noted, right? While CTT, our token, is gonna be the newly implemented reward system inside of Cashtree app. What makes CTT different from our project, from other project, is basically we already have a proven business model that running for the past 8 years since our inception, and it keep generating revenue. So we are currently paying about between 10 to 20% of our advertising campaign to our users, which allowing Cashtree business model to remain healthy, as we're gonna find like some balance between like reward payout and also like generating a net profit, so we can keep our lights on and keep continuing to invest in our growth. So that's the most important thing that differentiate Cashtree project with other project. The fact that I'm not gonna say the name of the project or maybe like something, but the thing is, most of the call a Web3 companies or like Web3 project, if we may, most of those projects will still focus on like getting traction, right? They are basically like focusing on building their infrastructures to get like new users coming in. The thing is, Cashtree already up and running for the past 8 years. We already generating revenue. We are basically the number one mobile advertising in Indonesia, and the CTT is like the newly reward system that we're gonna implement. So again, to answer the question, I hope that answered the question. Basically, we already have our own revenue generating business model, which already proven for the past 8 years.
Thank you so much, guys. Next community question. This one is coming from a very active community question. So shout out to Dark Villain _1. And his question is, many projects have problems with UI, user interface, and UX, user experience. And this one turn off new users. How do you plan to improve the interaction with the new users and with users outside the crypto space?
Yeah, this kind of leans into a little bit about what I was talking about before, being data heavy. We're actually quite fortunate coming from a Web2 background with no crypto introduction into our application. We understand the psychology of our users outside of crypto much better. Instead of trying to build a platform that's technologically advanced for crypto natives, we come from the exact opposite side of the spectrum. And there's a meme in crypto, the bell curve meme of intelligence, left curve, right curve. And when we're looking at crypto users, we're dealing with those that are, the left curve. And there's a simplicity there that most dApps do not take advantage of. A button should be clear of what it does. If you look at the Apple iOS experience, you know how to use an iPhone without ever being taught. It's very intuitive in the experience. And you'll find that within our application itself as well. Over the past 8 years, we've really refined the experience to be, as strict to its core. To every function has a direct purpose, and you'll be able to figure out that direct purpose within 30 seconds of looking at the screen, if not shorter. It really comes down to our design team working for 8 years to kind of understand the core functions and understanding the guiding vision of our user experience to be as streamlined as possible. And being that we're a data heavy company, we lean into what our users are actually doing, regardless of what we think they're going to do. And just for example, about 3 or so weeks ago, we completely revamped the onboarding experience. We changed some of the login credentials, some of the sign-up credentials. We added a new onboarding tutorial, because what we're trying to do is improve the conversion rate of new users. When you first open the application, what's the first experience that you have? You have 30 seconds to grab them. And can we retain them after those 30 seconds are up, or are they just going to uninstall the application? And this just comes down to our heavy reliance on data. We found a mixed panel. We were getting, I'm not going to give specific numbers, but it was a low number of conversions. We wanted to optimize that. We went to the design team, went to the user flow team, and we leaned in heavily thinking about, if I knew nothing about Cashtree, what do I need to know within the first 30 seconds? And how do I learn about how to use this application? What I want to emphasize is that the product you see today, your Android phone right now, that is a current step in the endless evolution of the Cashtree experience. If we ever mess up with our application, whether it be bugs, glitches, crashes, a bad UI experience in withdrawals or transactions or missions, we are going to be on top of that. If you notice it, we will notice it, and we will have the data to act on that. So what I want you guys to think about with Cashtree is not just we are what you see today, but we're this endless evolution of a mobile technology. The way we roll out application updates is we'll roll them out to our beta channel, just a couple hundred users. Then we'll do a 30% distribution before our 100% distribution. What this allows us to do is ensure that the app experience is optimized, reduce the pesky bugs, and that whatever we were trying to seek to address in this app update is addressed, and we bring no new issues. So it's a really good question, and we see it all the time. Going forward, what can you expect when we're trying to introduce crypto? It's going to be the same UI that our users know and love, just with some fancy new things happening behind the scenes. It really comes down to be as simple as that for our users.
Let's go. Thank you so much, guys. The next question, this one is from DJ Hi 1825. And the question is, why there is so much negative comments ever since the app was released in Google Play? And how can you handle this kind of feedback that may reflect the app from most people read feedbacks before downloading?
Wow, that's a very good question, and thank you so much for asking this question because it's gonna give us some opportunities to answer about the concern of the users. So I'm gonna tell you a bit of our stories back in 2020. Remember that during the COVID pandemic back in 2020, we can say that all the business has been hit very hard. We can tell something like tourism, transportation, retails. Well, basically all the businesses in the world is being hit very, very hard because of this pandemic, right? So, um, to be honest, mobile advertising is one of the business that being hit the hardest because there were times where we can say that there is no campaign running for like I don't know, maybe like several, like basically several months, right? Because advertisers, clients, we are being faced by the uncertainties of the condition of the world at that time. So basically, everyone's just like tighten their belt. They basically just stop all the advertising campaign to save the budget for the sake of like company survivability during the pandemic. So honestly, it was not never it's never be an easy decision for us, but well, sadly, we gotta remove some cash out options. We have to cap the rewards that we can deliver to our users, and basically by reducing the daily rewards that give to our users during the COVID era, because of the advertising companies, they were basically also like stop campaigning, right? That's impacting our users' experience to cash out or to earn or maybe to exchange their reward inside of Cashtree app. But you can see that for the past 2 months, we already back on track. We have like more than 4 stars average score in our Google Play Store at the moment, as we already introduced like many ways, many events, and many activities that we removed before. And also currently we also increasing our withdrawal limits. So I hope this is answering the questions and also to address the concern from our users.
Let's go, guys. And now, one more question. And this question is coming from BJ Ruben. And the question is, can you explain in more detail your tokenomics distribution? How many tokens will be minted? And how many tokens will be locked by the team?
Sure, of course, this is an essential question as we're headed into the Launchpad. I'll just kind of provide a quick breakdown of where our tokens are at, the distribution, the allocation, and the time lock that we've got set up. Before I dive into anything, I'd like to just point out we have a Medium article that was published just a few days ago. It runs down deeper into all of our tokenomics breakdown, has a link to all the smart contracts, which more than happy for you guys to dive deeper into if you're more technical. But most importantly to us, it'll provide further insight into for you guys, provide further insight into why our breakdown of tokens is the way that it is. Some people think tokenomics is just, let's figure out, we'll give 10% here, 5% here, but really there is a balance that needs to be constructed for the efficient supply and demand on a free market. And it comes down to a bunch of things. And I'm not going to get into it for the sake of time here on the call, but I highly urge you guys to read that Medium post, which is on our Twitter as well as our Medium at Cashtree Token. Just to provide a high level, basically 36% of our tokens come down to an ecosystem fund with a 4% initial release with a 36-month vesting schedule. This is a linear vesting schedule. The next largest breakdown of our tokens comes down to user benefit. So right there, a combined 68% of our tokens are for the purpose of ecosystem development and user benefit. User benefit tokens have a 3-month initial lockup. They're vested over 60 months. Basically, user benefit tokens are those that are used for loyalty programs, while ecosystem tokens are for partnerships and things of that nature. Going down to our next largest category, there's 3 that are at 10%. That's the private sale, that's the foundation, and that's our team. So your question was, how much of the tokens are provided to the team, that's 10%. They have initial lockup of 6 months, meaning we get no benefit from whatever the price of Cashtree token does for at least 6 months, but then extended with a 36-month vesting period. That means 6 months plus additional 36 months, and the full release of tokens will be on the market for the team. We have a very long-term vision for this project. I've talked about, having a vision that lasts 3, 4, 5, 7+ years, reshaping this industry, and our tokenomics heavily reflect that. Just going to dive down into the foundation and the private sale a little bit, and then we'll get to our smallest allocation, which is our advisors at 2%. We've done a small round of private sale, 10% of our tokens. Those have an 18-month initial lockup. That means that there's no whale, no insider, no VC, no one that will be dumping tokens as soon as this thing goes live on Bybit. We're really excited about that. The only tokens that are being released from our tokenomics for the first 3 months, first 90 days of our launch are ecosystem tokens, which are used solely for the development of our ecosystem, for growth, for market making, and for things that are important or mission critical to the success of Cashtree in its early days. We've developed our tokenomics to last really long because there's a flywheel effect here with our system. The more users and the more rewards we pay out, the more utility there is, the more growth there is. And that means that there's more users, there's more utility, there's more growth, there's more users, there's more utility, there's more growth. And with all of that, there's a natural organic demand and supply that will be found. And that's where we find the long-term success of Cashtree Token, is finding that balance of tokens that are released to real active users for real activities that produce real revenue to Cashtree. And that's what makes us unique from a lot of projects that are just token driven. We have a thriving business, and on the side, we have a loyalty system that is on chain. And as our business grows, our token user base grows, utility grows, and that just stimulates the flywheel effect of our token. So the final thing is a 2% advisory section. It's very critical for all tokens. There are things that we can't get done ourselves. We need advisors for, people that are smarter or in higher powers than us at certain companies with certain knowledge that we just need to reach out for. Our advisors are on an 18-month lockup with linear vesting over 24 months. So when you take a look at our Medium post about our tokenomics, you'll notice it's a very long and very soft curve to the release of tokens on the public market. We're really proud about this, and we think we found a really great balance over the long term. But for further information, we've got 5 billion tokens. They're trading on the Launchpad at 0.003 cents, 0.003. Yeah, 0.0033 cents. And where they'll start trading afterwards, no one knows, but we're looking forward to finding that. If you want to dig further, check out our Medium post. It has all this information and much more.
Thank you so much, William. Next question. This one is coming from Cranbees. And the question is, I have been using the Cashtree application since 2019 and have won lots of prizes in the form of credit, e-wallet balances, and others. What I'm asking is, why is it that only now has Cashtree entered the crypto war, and can we get a prize in the form of CTT if we exchange points?
Wow. Oh my God. First of all, thank you very, very much at Cranbees for being such a loyal user for Cashtree. We really appreciate it. So the reason, to answer your question, the reason is Cashtree team has been working on this project for the past 2 years, and we've been working very, very hard because we want to deliver this new innovation only when it is ready to give the best experience to our users, right? So we've been working with our consulting firms, with lawyers, regulators, and other partners to ensure that the experience of Cashtree app is optimally integrated to our current business infrastructures without any future concerns. And of course, as well as we are making sure that our tech stack is ready to scale on-chain experience that we're gonna offer to our users. But the main reason is the fact that, well, as you know, in crypto, good things gonna take time, just as Will said before. Uh, we've been working in the dark basically for a while, and now we are very proud, we are very happy and very glad that you are here for this new evolution of Cashtree. About getting CTT, when you exchange the points, there will be a period where Cashtree points can be manually converted to Cashtree token after we implement the token inside of Cashtree app. And after that, all the rewards collected by our users inside of Cashtree app will be in CTT only. So I hope that that answers your question. And again, thank you very much for being a very loyal user for Cashtree.
Bonifacio, thank you so much for answering. And now, one last question. This is the last community question, last but not least. Question coming from Unique Egg 01. And his question is, at this moment, Cashtree app is only available in Indonesia. Do you have any plans to launch the app in the global market and reach communities worldwide? Could you please explain how you intend to do that? And does the project have more appeal to Indonesian investors rather than global investors?
All right. Obviously, our basically going global with our application has been on the works for, I guess, for over a year now, and getting the advertising network set up for global expansion has been our primary challenge up until now, as our business development team has been focusing primarily on sourcing Indonesian advertisers and getting contracts for like current demographic in our apps. And well, to that point, we can say that maybe we're a bit biased as the majority of our team is Indonesian, but Indonesia is one of the most promising place for crypto projects to grow. As this market, we still have like massive potential because less than 5% of the population are already inside of crypto space in Indonesia. Means that we have like more than 90% of the upsides, right? We've been very fortunate for the past 8 years to build like strong brand recognition in Indonesia. And we're going to seek to build on top of a user loyalty and trust that we generated during this time to pivot into crypto before expanding outwards. So for the global expansion plan, it's going to be very critical for the business and for the long-term success of Cashtree. And we will be targeting for the rest of like Southeast Asia, well, like Philippines, and like Singapore, Vietnam, and so on, as the demographics of our apps base align pretty well with the expectation of the demographic peoples in those areas. So yes, to answer the question shortly, yes, of course we're gonna go global within very soon.
Let's go. So what a great way to finish with that last question. Thank you so much, everyone, for asking your question to Cashtree, and what a great AMA. Thank you, team, for taking the time to let us know more about you, and also thank you to our dear community for hanging out with us, and good luck with prizes. And talking about prizes, I just would like to remind you one more time, go check out our current campaign that we do have for Launchpad 3.0. Make sure you go bybit.com, go to trade, and then you will find the Launchpad page over there. You will find all the information. You can learn how can you subscribe. As I told you before, you will have two options, and right now we are already in the snapshot period. So make sure that you depending, right? You may use Mantle for subscription or USDT for the lottery. So if you want more information, if you need more details, make sure to check it out on bybit.com, on the Launchpad website. You will find all the information. You will find the timeline over there for the snapshot period. It is very important for you to read all the details, so you make sure that during the snapshot period, the balance of Mantle or USDT is in your funding account, a spot account, and the derivatives account. So these ones will be counted, and also the stake Mantle and your land mantle will also be snapshotted. So all this information on the website, you will also be able to check the time frames. Like I told you before, the snapshot period is already live and it will go until September the 4th at 11:59 UTC time. So make sure to stay tuned. And also, like I was telling you, prepare for the launchpad period, right? This is the most exciting period where the new token will be listed on Bybit, a spot platform, and this will happen on September the 5th at 12 a.m. UTC time. So all the information over there. Also, make sure, and I want to ask you, William, I want to ask you, Bonifacio, if you can just remind us one more time, what's the best place to learn more about Cashtree, and also how can we join the Cashtree community? And just before giving you the final word, just before giving you the microphone for the last words, I want to thank everyone again and remind you that we do have a quiz prepared for you where you will be able to grab more prizes. So we will be sharing a quiz on our Bybit English Telegram community. So make sure you go there. Make sure you stay tuned over there so you can answer the quiz. You can get a perfect score and keep grabbing more prizes. So again, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for providing us all details about our new Launchpad 3.0 CTT. And now the microphone is all yours.
Thank you so much, Kilo, for hosting us. We are so excited to be on this 3.0 Launchpad, to be the first, and as I said, first Indonesia to represent in Bybit. We're so thrilled. First to represent the Mantle network. We are ecstatic about all this. You can find us at Cashtree_token on Twitter, and our website is cashtree.app or cashtree.id. Head there. On the bottom of that page, you'll find all of our socials, from our TikTok to our Telegram to our Medium to our Discord. Best place to join the community is going to be on our Discord. Feel free to join dsc.gg/Cashtree. Thank you so much for hosting us, Kilo. Bonnie, you want to say your thanks, and we appreciate your time.
Yeah, again, thank you so much, Kilo and Bybit, for having us here. We are so glad and we are so happy to informing our community about our project, and it's going to be very exciting. So don't forget to join the Launchpad and stay tuned in our social media.
Let's go. Thank you everyone for joining, and hope to see you soon in our next X Spaces. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye all. Thank you.